setting up and you can hear me. All right. There we go. Okay. So now that I can see that you can comment and you can see me, I will get started. Hello, my name is Alex Bowden. I am a corporate people and culture strategist and a career coach. I am also a proud member of the Wellness Universe and excited for the opportunity to speak to you today. I want to share some tips and encouragement around making this drastic shift to working from home full-time. And even as we start to hit our shelter-in-place stride, I think we're about 50 days in at this point, this could still be the new normal for many of us moving forward. So I hope you'll get some insight from some of the things I have to share with you today. Some brief housekeeping items. I am not a doctor, so I am not providing medical services. If you feel you need help, please seek a professional. With that in mind, I encourage you to jump in and participate throughout today. If you identify with something, please hit the like or love buttons. If you have questions or comments, pop them into the chat box. I will happily address them. I'd love to engage with you throughout this conversation. Hi, Anna. Thanks for having me today. I'm excited. Okay, so I want to jump in. And today we're going to start with how to manage our emotions more effectively in order to be more effective. And that is a mouthful. And it really translates into me, right? Because that is what it's about. It all starts with us and how do we find balance within ourselves so that we can be more effective in managing ourselves and managing our loved ones and our coworkers, our peers. And if we have people reporting into us for a leadership position, how to do that more effectively as well. Now, I love Brene Brown. I'm sure many of you have heard of her. I don't know if you listened to her podcast, Unlocking Us, but she had an episode recently that I really identified with called Managing Anxiety, Calm, and Over-Under Functioning. And how she defines it is that overfunctioners are the people that tend to dive in headfirst and take control when things seem out of control to avoid facing the emotion. Underfunctioners are the people that more or less revert into an incapacitated state when hit with a lot of conflict or emotion. They almost take the position of freezing, or they have to be taken care of during this time because they can't function. I don't know about you, but I am hands down an overfunctioner. So the other thing that we talk about and has been proven is that anxiety itself is contagious. I want to share a brief story with you just so you get to know a little bit about me, but I found this out the hard way growing up. My mother, who's wonderful, is a very anxious person. And in my dance career, prior to getting into my career now as a professional dancer, and so she was my rock. She would take me everywhere to auditions. I was always a jumble of nerves. I was really high strung. And when I moved away to college, I realized I'm actually a really laid back person. I'm very low key, but I was feeding off of the anxiety that my mom naturally held. And so I very much related to that research around anxiety being contagious. And that's why we have to really take a moment to assess our internal state, because we can be affecting everyone around us and also not functioning in an optimal manner. So if this is our state without us being self-aware, this becomes really dangerous, right? And I say that because we respond to situations or challenges, or if people rely on us for advice, how does this change the way that we respond? It's going to have a big impact on the way that we respond, and maybe in ways that we don't recognize or in ways that are not valuable to the people which are relying on us. Now, as a coach or mentor advisor myself, it is my role to guide and advise. If I'm in an overfunctioning state of stress and anxiety without realizing it, I won't be effective in my role because my advice is inherently coming from a control reactive state versus one of thoughtfulness and strategy. And that's why it's super important that we start with me in analyzing our situation every day. Am I feeling balanced? What place am I coming from? How am I managing today? Because every day for us right now is changing. We're in a global pandemic. We're seeing things we've never seen before. We're all having predictions of what this new normal is going to look like. We're getting misinformation or changing information as we discover what is going on around us. So every day is different. You have to treat it as such. Good morning, Vanessa. Hi, Jennifer. Thanks for joining us, you guys. So, things to think about when managing yourself as an employee or solopreneur. And I know a lot of people in the wellness universe are solopreneurs or entrepreneurs. So, the first thing I want to say is figure out your optimal working style. Maybe you're someone that does better at a desk or in front of a window where there's natural light or changing scenery day to day. This is your chance to discover, if you don't already know, what is going to work for you, and try different things. Try them on for size, like you do when you go shopping. You try on different clothes or different pairs of shoes. See what fits for you. Next is maybe there are certain tasks that are mindless and you're having trouble finding the motivation to get them done, especially when we talk about a global pandemic, right? We're fearing for our safety. We get into a fight or flight mentality and emotional state. We become less effective. So focusing on things like work can maybe feel frivolous at times. So if you're having trouble getting the motivation to get things done, designate time and space for these items. Give yourself blocks of time and windows to really focus and hone in for an hour, 2 hours, and then build in a break. So this could be sending daily recaps or cleaning up your inbox or responding to non-vital emails, entering your time into a company time tracker, right? Things that tend to be brainless, that maybe don't urge our attention right away, but still need to get done. Whatever these tasks might be, find the moments best suited for them when you're more motivated to tackle them. So implement a reward for yourself. It could be like you want to tackle these things that are kind of brainless in front of your favorite TV show you've seen 10 times. So the TV show doesn't take a lot of your attention, but it's still some sort of stimulation. Maybe you have a beer or a glass of wine while you're sitting and doing this at night, and you use your main productive hours for things that are really crucial and are going to take a lot of your focus and time and energy. Now, the next thing when we talk about energy is to work in stages depending on your energy. We have natural, increases and decreases in our energy throughout the day. Some people are morning people. For example, my husband can get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and knock out a couple hours of work before my son even wakes up. For me, I'm like dragging out of bed at 7 in the morning and I have to have a solid hour with my breakfast and my coffee before I can even hit a rhythm. So it really depends on you, and you want to capitalize on these natural increases in energy for your productive times. Okay, so set windows of time to work around your natural spurts of energy when possible. It might mean you're doing more work late at night, whatever that is for you, and have a communication with your manager if necessary, especially if you have kids at home, around how to make that work more effectively for you so you can be more productive in your job. Okay, awesome. Thank you, Anna. I'm glad you guys are enjoying what I have to say so far. The next thing is create a list of top tasks for the day that you absolutely need to get done. This will help keep you on track, especially when you start to lose that motivation. It'll give you something to focus on. So write it down, cross it off. We have a saying in talent acquisition called eat the frog. And that means tackle your biggest, most challenging thing first thing when you have the most energy and you're fresh, because that is proven to give you a lot of motivation and stimulation to tackle everything else moving forward. So if you dive into the thing that you least want to do first thing and get it done, you get it out of the way. And you're like, you know what? Everything else after that seems easy or fun even or exciting. So you'll feel accomplished and you'll get more energy to increase your productivity throughout the day. The next thing I want to touch on is practice discipline. So when we're working from home all of a sudden, especially shifting from an office environment, we are surrounded by distractions, right? We have our bed, we have our kitchen, we have our fuzzy slippers or our TV or all these things that are distractions. For me, kids at home, right? That's a lot of distraction. So when you have structure and then no structure, even the most driven people are bleeding with boundaries here. Now, tips to combat this are set a schedule and stick to it. If this isn't working, analyze why and make the necessary adjustments. This isn't going to, be a one and done process. You're going to have to keep revisiting the schedule throughout this time and make adjustments based on what you find works and doesn't work. Establish a routine that will help you and everyone else know what's expected of them and at what times. So this eliminates wasted time and energy having to discover each day like it's new. We know from things like unconscious bias or discrimination that our brain operates, the neural pathways are preset to fire as quickly and efficiently as possible. So we jump to conclusions about people and things because that's how we operate most efficiently. So if you're having to set each day like it's new and discover it, you're being really inefficient. That's where a schedule can really, really help. And you won't waste time getting distracted by everything if you have clear designated workspace and work times and break times. Another tip is plan your meals ahead of time if possible. You know how it goes. You're working really hard and you kind of like wander your way into the kitchen. You're like, well, what am I going to eat today? And you're thumbing through the cabinets and maybe you grab a snack and then maybe you decide you're going to cook chicken, or you end up wasting a lot of time. So the best thing you can do instead of scavenging is be really efficient. It'll also help you be more health conscious if you choose your meals ahead of time. You'll save money if you're someone that defaults to ordering in, and you'll make sure that you have the necessary time to eat to fuel your body and mind each day. Next is set up your environment so that you're most effective. So pick a spot that's devoted to work. This should typically, and in most cases, be somewhere away from leisure spots or distractions, but still make it cozy and exciting to be there. Have motivational quotes that you put up. Sit near a window, have a comfy chair, right? Have things at your disposal that make you feel good about being there and make you want to work and get energized. Pick your dress. If you're someone that can work just as effectively in your sweatpants, do it. If you're someone that needs to put on clothes like you're going to the office, do it, right? It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, this could change day to day and week to week. There's some days where I really want to get dressed and some days that I don't, and I can be just as productive. So again, me. Know yourself, know how you work best. Start with you and finding that balance for yourself. Turn off notifications. This is a really, really big one, you guys, because we have social media and just influx of constant stimulation, especially in the state of fear, right? People posting articles and fighting about politics and all these different things going back and forth. If you need to be in the zone, it might be really hard to do that with everyone home and much more interactive on things like social media. So turn off all notifications. Tell your employees, if you have them, how to reach you via Skype, email, Slack, whatever it is, if it's important. Or put your phone away. And again, use that focused work period that you've set for yourself until your break to really dig in and not be distracted. That leads into make short-term goals or objectives around getting things done. So if you are dying to read that Facebook article that everyone's circulating with the new COVID-19 info, use it as a reward to getting through a project or focus period first. So you might say to yourself, I need to focus on completing this task for the next hour. I'm going to put my phone somewhere that's not tempting. I'm going to hunker down. And when it's complete, I'm going to give myself a 5-minute break to read that article. Okay? The same goes for housework. Housework might be calling your name. You might be looking at all the piles of laundry that have to get done or the disorganization. That's perfect. I know that I work better when I have some organization around me. So designate windows of time where you need a break from your computer to tackle those things, but make them small tasks. Like, it takes you 15 minutes to load the washer and dryer and switch things over. And when it's done, you go back to your computer, okay? So set the timer, set a task is going to entail a certain amount of time, and then make sure that you're building in those blocks to get those things done and keeping yourself balanced, but still focused and productive in your work. The big one I want to finish on today, when it comes to working with kids or partners or distractions at home, is to set a schedule with your partner if you can. And a lot of you probably have already had to do this because, again, we're about 50 some days into this. But for example, my husband and I set a schedule around watching our son based on when we work best, when he was most needed for his team and important meetings, when I really was most needed, when we wanted to accomplish housework. And we also accepted it with the fact that we had to be flexible, right? Things are going to come into play each day that change it, but we could go back to our schedule and say, okay, who has him this time? Who is that? Can we trade? Lunch and breaks need to be included. This might change day to day. Recognize that working with children is really hard. Taking care of them, our work, our house, all at the same time is so hard, and we're not superhuman. So the important thing you need to do is make sure that you have time for you every day. Again, finishing on the me, right? If I'm not balanced, I cannot be effective. So many of us are in the same boat. That's the good news, even though it's unfortunate. All of this is temporary. We're going to get through it. We're going to get through it together. We're going to be stronger. But check in with yourself each day and what your needs are to create optimal productivity. And it could be exercise, meditation, a shower, simply coffee and a good article or a podcast or a chapter of a book in the morning or as a break, or getting dressed to go to the office that makes you feel fresh and good. Communicate with your partner, with your leaders, if you have people you report to, regularly on the challenges that you're facing, your need for support, and put yourself first, because right, the image of the mask in the airplane, if you're going down, you can't be effective and help anyone else. So if you guys have any questions for me, I am a resource to you. I am available to you. Please don't hesitate to ask. I have a lot of this information circulating around that I've put out over the last month and a half or 2 months. So it's there for you. Pretty much all of it's free. And that's just because I want to help you through this time. And I know we're all in it together. So I hope you got value out of today. If you have any questions, please pop them into the chat before I sign off. I'm checking now. Awesome. Heather says, definitely love the flexibility aspect. My energy changes from day to day when I'm more or less energetic mode. Of course, this always happens. Yesterday I had a day, it was pouring here and I don't think I got out of my PJs. I didn't move. So, honor that. You have to honor that, because today I'm feeling really productive because I did honor it. Awesome, Jennifer. Thank you. Most people are just chiming in with affirmations that they connect with this message. That makes me so, so happy. All right. I want to give you, respect for your time. Thank you so much. And again, here if you have questions. I hope to see you all soon. Have a good one.